Hello, students. How are you today? It's getting very close to Christmas and our winter break, but we do have some math to do today. And hey, today we're going to challenge you a bit with this division of fractions. And then after the holiday, we're going to move on to a new topic, which is exponents. So let's get started. Today we have a do now question about good ideas. So I'm anxious to see what you have to say about that. Good ideas. We will continue in our objective working with mixed number division, and our essential question will be, how do I divide more than one mixed number in the same problem? And does the order of how I work the problems matter? Our assignment today is to watch our video and complete the worksheet. I want you to try some problems on your own first and then check them as you go along. I know you'll become an expert as you do. We have an exit ticket today. We're going to complete the sentence, working or when dividing two or more mixed numbers together. First, I must work from blank to blank because, and we'll be explaining that when we do our exit ticket together. Always do your exit ticket, students, because it really is kind of the period at the end of the sentence of your lesson and helps you remember that one important thing that you could remember when dividing these fractions. So if you are supposed to be working in class, and at the end of the period, I do want you to show me what you've done. But if you haven't finished everything, you can finish it up. You still need to show your work at the end of the period. Finished or not, I want to see what you've been doing. I want to see all your hard work. You know, when you don't show me your work, it's kind of like having a job and going into work every day and then Friday's payday and not picking up your paycheck. When you show me your work, you're showing me a job well done. And that's something we can both be proud of. So let's turn those cameras on, at least at the beginning of the period when we have our initial discussion, and at the end of the period, just to show me your work. And if I call your name, I'd like to hear from you. It could be the beginning, middle, or end of the period, but that lets me know you're working hard. And I can ask you if you need any help. Remember to always check PowerSchool regularly for missing assignments. So we've got today National Ugly Sweater Day. So I'm going to go ahead and start coloring this sweater. And, you know, some people think these sweaters are beautiful. Some people think they're ugly. But you know what? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Our do now question today is really interesting. Would you rather? So that's a choice. We're making a choice. Be known as a person who has great ideas. So that's the first choice. Be known as a person who has great ideas. Or here's the second choice. Someone who implements great ideas to get things done. So the first person is an ideator. The second person maybe doesn't come up with clever ideas, but that person takes those ideas and puts them to work and gets things done. There's certainly an advantage to both. We could have lots of ideas that are good and that will help us or our society or our school or our neighborhood, but if we don't put them to work, they're not really great ideas until we use them for us. So think about which you would rather be, and let's hear one sentence right here where you can talk about that. This is our exit ticket. We'll come back to that in a few minutes. So let's get started with our mixed number division. Today is December 21st. Put your name at the top. We're leaving 2020 pretty soon and going on to 2021. We've got 4 fractions and mixed numbers that we're going to work with today. So let's use our scrap paper to get started. Number 1, 9 1/5 divided by 2 3/5 divided by 23/26 divided by 2 5/6. Okay, so let's convert the 3 of these. Our mixed numbers need to be converted to improper fractions. So we'll multiply 9 times 5 is 45, plus the numerator 1 is 46 over 5. Divided by And our second denominator is fifths. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. Divided by 23 over 26, divided by a denominator of 6. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 5 is 17. So why don't we just start with the first two numbers? Let's get another color. We can work over here on the right. So we'll have keep the first fraction, 46 over 5, change the division to multiplication, and flip the second fraction to its reciprocal. So 5 and 5 can each be divided by 5 to get a value of 1, but 13 and 46 are not factors of each other. In fact, 36 is prime. So we're just going to multiply across, and we've got 46 over 13. So now we'll take the 46 over 13, and now we're going to do the second 23 over 26. We change the division to multiplication. We flipped the second number, and I see lots of opportunities for simplifying. So we've got 23 and 46. Well, 23 is half of 46. 23 divided by 23 is 1. 46 divided by 23 is 2. And the same thing with 13 and 26. 13 divided by 13 is 1. 26 divided by 13 is 2. Multiplying across, we have 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1, and that equals 4. We'll probably keep this fraction so we can do the third division. So now we've got 4 over 1, and we're going to work with this last fraction, 17 over 6, which we will change the division to multiplication and flip. So 4 over 17. So when we multiply, 6 times 4 is 24, 17 times 1 is 17, which is an answer, but it's an improper fraction. So how many times does 17 go into 24? Well, 1 times 17 is 17, and 24 minus 17 is 7, so 1 and 7 17ths. So that is our final answer, 1 and 7 17ths. And we'll put that on number 2. And let's get started with number 2. So we have 1 and 17 17ths divided by 1/2, divided by 12. So everything needs to be a fraction, so let's start converting where we need to. So 1 and 17 17ths, well, we already know from our last problem that that is 24 17ths. Excuse me, that should be 7 17ths, not 17, okay. Because 17 times 1 is 7, plus 7 more, so 17 times 1 is 7, plus 7 more is 24 17ths, divided by 1/2, divided by, and we're going to put this 12 over 1. So let's start with the first two numbers. So we will have 24 over 17, change the division to multiplication, flip the second fraction, and there's no simplifying that we can do here. 2 is not a factor of 17, and we have a 1 here, so there's nothing, can never be simpler than that. So that would be 24 times 2 is 48 over 17. Now we need to divide 48 over 17 by the third fraction, which is 12 over 1. And we'll use our keep, change, flip again. 48 over 17 times 1 over 12. 1 and 17 cannot be simplified, but 12 is a factor of 48. So 12 divided by 12 is 1. 48 divided by 12 is 4. And our final answer will be 4/17, and that is already simplified for us. So that's number 2. And we'll put that on the next line for number 3. And let's work with our scrap paper here, or our workbook paper. So number 3, 2 divided by 4/17 divided by 1 2/3. So we will do some conversions here. 2, we will call that 2/1 divided by 4/17 divided by 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5/3. We'll start with the first 2 fractions because we'll work from left to right. We'll use keep change flip 2/1 times 17/4. And I can go ahead and I can reduce 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2. When I multiply across, 17 times 1 is 17, 2 times 1 is 2. And I'm going to keep that as an improper fraction because I still need to multiply, or excuse me, I still need to divide by 5/3. 17/2 divided by 5/3. So we'll use keep change flip, keep the first fraction, change division to multiplication, flip the second fraction, and I cannot reduce anything. There's nothing I can do. So all I can do is multiply across. So I've got 17 times 3, which equals 51, and 5 times 2, which equals 10. This is an easy one to simplify. I know that 10 times 5 is 50 with 1 left over. 5 and 1/10. So that's number 3. And we'll put that for number 4. And we've got 3 improper fractions and 3 mixed numbers, and 1 fraction. So let's get to work on number 4. So number 4, let's start with the green. And we have 5 1/10 divided by 1 11/40 divided by 2 1/3 divided by 5/14. Okay, let's start making our conversions. The 5/14 is ready to go. That's already fraction form. So let's look at 5 1/10. Well, 5 times 10 is 50 plus 1. That's 51/10 divided by, now we have 40ths. 40 times 1 is 40 plus 11 is 51 divided by, now we have thirds. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7 divided by 5/14. Let's write that a little more neatly. Much better. Okay, we're going to work from left to right. So we'll start with 51/10, change the division to multiplication, flip the second fraction. Now I hope you see all the simplifying that we can do. 51 divided by 51 is 1. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 40 divided by 10 is 4. When I multiply across, I have 4/1, which equals 4. But for now, I'm going to keep that as a fraction, so I can go ahead and divide that by 7/3. So I've got 4/1 divided by 7/3. When I rewrite that, I'll rewrite that as 4 over 1 times 3/7, and no simplifying can be done. 4 times 3 is 12, 7 times 1 is 7. So now I'm going to take this 12 over 7, and I need to divide that by the final number, which is 5 over 14. Using keep, change, flip, 12 over 7 multiplied by the reciprocal, which is 14 over 5. And do you see that 7 and that 14? 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 12 times 2 is 24. 5 times 1 is 5. Let's convert that to a mixed number. So I'll divide 24 by 5. 5 times 4 is 20, with 4/5 left over. So that will be 4 and 4/5 as our final answer. Okay, number 5 has 2 numbers for us to work with. Let's get our paper ready. Okay, let's work on number 5. We have 4 and 4/5 divided by 2 and 6/7. Let's convert these to improper fractions. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 4 is 24 over 5, divided by 7 times 2 is 14, plus 6 is 20 over 7. Now let's do our keep, change, flip. 24 over 5, change the division to multiplication, and flip the second fraction, 7 over 20. Now, 24 and 20 are both divisible by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So 6 times 7 is 42. 5 times 5 is 25. And let's convert that to a mixed number. So we'll divide 42 by 25. 1 times 25 is 25. And when we subtract, we will have 17 25ths. So the final answer, 1 and 17 25ths. And that's number 5. And let's put that for number 6. Okay, so 4 and 1/5 divided by 1 and 17 25ths. Let's get some more room to write. So number 6, 4 and 1/5 divided by 1 and 17 25ths. So we're going to need to make these into improper fractions. So 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21/5, divided by 25 times 1 is 25, plus 17 is 42 25ths. Now we'll do our keep, change, flip. Keep the first fraction, change the division to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. And we've got some great opportunities to simplify this. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 21 divided by 21 is 1. And 42 divided by 21 is 2. There are two groups of 21 in 42. So when we multiply across, our final answer is 5 over 2. And let's divide 5 by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And we have 1/2 left over. And that's our final answer, 2 1/2. Okay, so we're on number 7, 43.5 divided by 2 1/2. And I hope that you're writing these as I am. You should be working right along with me. So we're going to have to convert these to improper fractions. 43 times 2 is 86, plus 1 is 87 over 2, divided by 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Now we'll do our keep change flip. 87 over 2 times 2 over 5. And we easily can simplify those 2's to 1's, but 5 is not a factor of 87, so we'll just multiply across. And let's convert that to a mixed number. We'll divide 87 by 5. So 8 divided by 5 is 1, with 3 left over. 37 divided by 5 is 7. 7 times 5 is 35, with 2 left over, so 17 and 2/5 is our final answer. This is very good practice for you students. When you get to high school, a lot of your friends around you are going to be sitting in math class really whining about the fractions, and you are going to be so strong and so thankful for all the practice that you've had. So, number 8. 17 and 2/5 divided by, this is a hard one, but we don't care, it's hard, it's just an opportunity to show off our skills. 24 and 6/7 divided by 1/2, and it's going to equal something. So let's work with our improper fractions. So our 1/2 will stay the same. So 5 times 17. So 17 times 5 is 85, plus 2 is 87 over 5, which we can see if we go back to this problem. See, that's what we had for it before. Now, 24 and 6/7. So we know our denominator will be 7. 24 times 7 is 168, plus 6 is 174 over 7. Okay, let's start with the first two numbers. Just go slow. So we have keep change flip, 87 over 5 multiplied by 7 over 174. Well, I'm going to try something. When I see a number like this, I know that 7 times 2 is 14. I'm going to take my calculator and see, can I divide 174 by 87, and what do I get? And what I get is 2, because 87 is actually a factor of 174. So 87 divided by 87 is 1. 174 divided by 87 is 2. Boy, I've just made this problem a lot easier. I just multiply across. 7 times 1 is 7. 5 times 2 is 10. Now I take that 7 over 10 and I will divide it by the last number, which is 1/2. And I'm going to use my keep change flip. So 7/10 times 2 over 1. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. When I multiply across, my final answer is 7 over 5, which we know is 1 with 2/7 left over. Or 2/5, excuse me, I shouldn't have written 7ths. That was a mistake. 2/5 left over. Okay, so let's put that on our paper. And on number 9, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 fractions that we're dealing with. On number 9, make sure we have lots of room to put those. So it will be 10 1/8 divided by 9/10 divided by 1 2/5 divided by 6 3/7. So first we want to convert everything to improper fractions. 9/10 is all set, so we can just go ahead and bring that down. Now 10 times 8 is 80 plus 1 is 81 over 8. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7 over 5. 6 times 7 is 42 plus 3 more is 45 over 7. Let's start with the first two numbers. So we have, keep the first number, 81 over 8, change the division to multiplication, and flip the second number. Now, 8 and 10 are both divisible by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4, 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 9 is a factor of 81. So 9 divided by 9 is 1, 81 divided by 9 is 9. When we multiply across, 9 times 5 is 45. 4 times 1 is 4. So now we'll go with the third fraction, 45 over 4 divided by 7 over 5. And to accomplish this, we will keep the first fraction, change the division to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. And 5 and 4 cannot be simplified, but 7, let's see, nope, 7 is not a factor of 45. So let's just multiply across. 45 times 5 equals 225. 7 times 4 is 28. We're going to leave this as a an improper fraction. We're not going to convert it to a mixed number because we still have one more fraction. So we're going to do 225 over 28 divided by 45 over 7. And in order to do that, we will multiply 225 over 28 by the reciprocal, which is 7 over 45. Now, let's take care of the things that are most familiar to us first. We know that 7 is a factor of 48. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 28 divided by 7 is 4. So you can take your calculator and you can divide 225 by 45 and see if it is a factor, and it is. 45 goes into itself once. It goes into 225 5 times. So we just multiply across, and we have 5 over 4, which is 1 whole with 1/4 left over. And that's number 9. But we want to verify the final answer. So let's show our work. So number 10, 3 1/8 divided by 1 1/4. Let's turn these into improper fractions. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25 over 8. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5 over 4. Now we'll keep change flip. 25 over 8 times 4 over 5. Lots of simplifying we can do here. 5 is a factor of 25. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So when we multiply across, we have 5 over 2, which equals 2 and 1/2. And let's check our paper. And that indeed is the right answer. So don't stop here. You've got that exit ticket because you know I'm going to ask you about it. So let's get that done now. When dividing two or more mixed numbers, I must work from left to right, just like we read, from left to right, because division is not commutative. In other words, order matters. So good job. I hope you're having fun with this, even though we're working very hard. I'm going to color in some of your light bulbs to make them a little more fancy. And you can go back if you have a few extra minutes and you want to color in that ugly sweater and do something with that to make it even uglier or maybe even prettier. That's really up to you. But go ahead and pat yourself on the back for a job well done. I'm really proud of you, and I want you to practice because as you continue to practice, you'll be great.